Yeah.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.
This is the Daily Rave, Part 2 for Friday, June 15th, 2012. This is part 2 of the Daily Rave with Gary Kay and Tim Albright. Also with us, some very special guests, Dr. Randy Lemke from InfoComm International. How are you, sir?
I'm very fine today. Thank you for asking.
And also
I gotta talk here.
Yeah, that's a microphone.
I can move it over here, but
and Jason McGraw, he is also the Senior Vice President of InfoComm. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Tim. Thanks.
Good. We wanted to get you guys together and kind of give us a wrap-up from your perspective of the show, InfoComm 2012, and maybe a preview of InfoComm 2013.
Go ahead,
Jason.
Brady.
oh, biggest show ever.
Yeah.
All good. All good. Exhibitors are happy. Lots of attendees. It's really brought together. It's always a big year of work that these guys do, putting it together. I get to come along and run a few meetings, and all that's good. But
cut a ribbon.
Yeah, cut a ribbon or two, and all that's fun. So now for the real work, Jason. What happened?
Yeah, it was a fabulous show this year. We had a record amount of paid exhibitor space on the show, which was terrific. Over 925 exhibitors, and we're still doing some registrations right now towards the close of the show here on Friday afternoon, but we've exceeded 34,000 total registrations, and very close to our 08 number, which was our record. So we're very pleased. The traffic's been terrific on the floor. We've gotten great feedback from the exhibitors and the attendees. Our InfoComm University classes were up 20% this year over last year, so a lot of folks taking education this year, especially getting renewal units towards their certifications, CTS. Just everything's gone extremely smoothly here in Las Vegas this year, and it's just been a heck of an event. It's going to be hard to top, but we try to do it every year.
Well, let me tell you, I've obviously walked the entire show floor. The layout of the floor, the layout of the show floor is tops. It's the best show ever.
Looks great.
And I'm not talking about just InfoComm, overall, because the aisles aren't you don't feel squeezed in the aisles. They're nice and wide. You filled the space well. The layout of the booths and the way they all fit together is awesome. It's easy to find bathrooms, which is an important factor.
That's an important one.
And no, seriously, in all seriousness, it's a phenomenal show. It's going to be hard to top this. This is definitely the best InfoComm I've been to.
Well, that's what we try to do every year. We try to keep making improvements and tweaks every year to provide the best experience possible for the attendees and exhibitors in the marketplace. And I think we've had a great success this year.
Yeah, I think our show always is a pretty show, and it's just something it should be because of our technology. In other shows, and there's great shows that you attend and we attend, but here, with all the visuals that are there, and exhibitors really go all out, and I think they take a lot of pride in their booth, and just exploiting their own technologies. I think it just makes our show very, very pretty.
You're exactly right. In fact, I think our exhibitors do a pretty good job of integrating the technology. I was talking in our earlier Daily Rave that I'd like to see them do even a better job. There's still a lot of static signage around our show instead of the dynamic signage. But it is coming a long way, and it keeps getting better and better every year. And it's neat. I was excited to see manufacturers back in a bigger way. InFocus is back this year, and they hadn't been in the show in a long time. They admit they made a mistake in not being in the show, and Sony's back in a bigger and better way than ever before.
Absolutely.
And so what you've got is not only do you have the tried and true companies really making a commitment to the show, but you've got hundreds of new companies. I mean, a lot of new companies, and some of them had small spaces, but some of them had big spaces to show off their stuff.
That's right. We had 200 new exhibitors this year, Gary, versus last year's show, and we get a little turnover each year because we go to Orlando and Las Vegas, but a lot of new technology, especially like streaming. We've grown in conferencing and digital signage.
Especially the video conferencing.
Absolutely.
That section, the video conferencing stuff, I mean, it's always been sort of cordoned off, but now you truly have UC all together in one place, and it's easy to find. it's easy to navigate, and all the players are there. Nobody's missing.
Right. And the same in the audio. I mean, they've got all the audio brands that are there. And you mentioned earlier companies coming back and InfoComm, and we welcome them back big. And Sony, they're demonstrating to the industry that they really want to work through this channel. And it's very important for companies to be able to do that. And InfoComm's a marker for a lot of attendees. If you're not here, you're not thought about as much.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting to see how you're able to fit new exhibitors in this hall, because I think we're going to end up having to go to the South Hall in not too distant future, because you filled these halls. And I don't know if you don't have any more space in these halls, do you really?
We have a little bit of space here and there, and we've just recently signed lease agreements to extend our rotation with Orlando and Las Vegas.
Well, that's good to hear.
As we grow, that was part of the plan. We have the opportunity to continue to grow in both the cities and these venues, and that's why they're the number 1 and 2 convention destinations in the country.
Jason, how long does that agreement go through?
Well, we just signed for 3 more years in each city, so 6 more years through 18.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I think it's good to do it that way, because people get used to it. They know where the places are to eat. They know where they want to stay. They know where to go. And so there's a level of familiarity and comfort in that.
We get some questions about why don't you pick one city and plan it. But we still get about 30% of the attendees that come really more on a regional basis. So we think it's still very important to go city to city.
And I very rarely hear attendees ask for it to be in one location.
Yeah.
I think attendees appreciate not going to the same place all the time. I mean, I can't imagine coming to Las Vegas every single year, every time. I mean, I think it's nice to have some variety in there. And Orlando is a good family destination. I think next year you're going to have more families because it is in Orlando.
Yeah, could be.
I had a chance to interview Melissa Taggart earlier today.
Good.
And I was excited to hear the massive increase in not only education, but certification. You guys certified a record number of people here at the show.
Yeah, one of the things that we were able to do with our testing company was to have them on site. So they're all, secure testing. It's all online still. But rather than what we used to do is we'd have to, rent limos and take people to a testing site.
Right.
And that worked. But here, I think we sold out all the seats. I think it was 245 people that sat for their certification here, and they could take the general CTS as well as the D and the I, and having it here in the building just really makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to teach a class this year, and the biggest group of people I've ever had in an InfoComm class. I mean, you got. I've had more in the general sessions and in the Super Tuesdays, of course, but in an individual seminar. And as I walked to my class, I was looking at other classes. They're all packed. Yeah, all the classes are packed. I mean, kudos to Melissa and Terry and everybody who does all that work in Bill and education.
Yeah,
I tried to get him I tried to interview him, but he wanted Melissa to do the interview because I think he felt like that she should get all the accolades. But I know I've seen Bill running around here, and he's a big part of that. And you guys you got a great team. In fact, talking about the team, last night I was invited to the VIP reception, so thank you. And that was an extremely moving experience. I was broken up. I could not believe. I didn't actually think it would affect me that way, but they put together a phenomenal video honoring Randy's career with InfoComm. Hopefully we can tell you how to link to that by the time you're listening to this, because I hope you're going to want to watch this. Probably a 5-minute video. But also everybody that you've worked with in some level, shape or form, directly and indirectly in the industry, was there to honor you.
It couldn't have been done better, put together better. The people that came very much appreciated. It's walking around the hall and people coming up and saying thank you, and the ones that saying different things that it meant in their careers. People coming up and saying, I started taking classes here and I finally got it, and then now I've worked on my CTS and Ds and Is, and people saying that, and all the international people saying, we're now a global organization, we're just not North American. So,
right.
It's very heartwarming. I don't know when we're going to post the video, but I'm sure there's plans to put it up someplace at some time.
I hope you do, because it's a great video, and it's got some really cool pictures of Randy.
with a little more dark hair.
Yeah.
The same tie in every one of them, but
Your wife's got to buy you a new tie.
yeah. Well, of course, I don't need a tie on a boat.
That's right. Oh, that's
true,
right.
yeah.
So by the end of this year, Randy will be sailing wherever or he wants to go in his Miss Whitney boat.
Yeah.
In fact, last night the association, the board, our association, I guess, gave him a little gift that was really cool. It was a little Miss Whitney boat, a little dinghy boat. I don't know, they're not dinghies. What are those called?
Well, they're inflatables,
Inflatable,
which fits in the category called dinghies.
Okay, so it is. All right.
There's different kinds of dinghies, but it's
It's a dinghy with a motor too. It was nice, and
It's newest technology. It's a propane driven outboard.
I
First one ever invented.
Yeah.
That's I tell you, I know that you're going to love retirement, but I also know that, and I would be shocked if you're not at InfoComm next year because you're going to have a hard time not being around the people that have been around you for so long.
Well, you'll probably see me in boat shoes, shorts, and a T-shirt. And I've been telling everybody, next year you're buying me a drink.
Well, Lou Nanny will be happier, and he's not the only one in boat shoes
Yeah,
anymore.
really.
He's going to listen to this and say, "Wow, my name was mentioned."
Yeah.
No, and personally, Randy, it's been an honor. I remember the very first day. I think it was the first day you worked at InfoComm. Certainly one of the first days that I met you. We were all sitting. We were in a Petsy meeting, and downstairs in what was going to become the academy. I think it was in that room down there.
Yeah.
And you walked in, and all I could think about is this guy is huge. He's like like a basketball player, but you came from a university, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And what the vision that you had for education both scared me and blew me away, because you had this thing about putting it all online, and then online didn't really have a definition. I mean, this was amazing.
Yeah, I'd come from that background, distance learning, and we've done a lot of online things. But what made it difficult was dial-up, and we wanted to do very high-end graphics and videos. So we wrote our own system, put together the whole management of the content. But to do high bandwidth graphics, we distributed by CD-ROM, so it could go out and get real video, because our industry wasn't going to put up with schlocky videos. So it was cool. I remember in the 1997 InfoComm show in Los Angeles.
Yes.
We were there, and I'm standing on the show floor going, "You too can learn on the internet." And people walking by and shaking their heads going, "Huh?" And
it's the truth. It is amazing how far that has come.
Yeah.
From being like this emerging technology to being a de facto standard in education and certification in AV.
Many companies start their people out with our Essentials course, go through certification. They build a plan, how they're going to really help their people grow, and it's very gratifying to see that happen.
We have a program at our company, in fact, that we require everybody to get a CTS certification within a year and a half, and we actually bonus them once they get the CTS certification. And I think that hopefully more companies will adopt that, because the base knowledge that you gain from a class like that is it's going to take you a long way to understanding outside of your own organization. Because if you're a video company and don't understand anything about audio, then you're missing it, because you really don't have a connection to how everything fits together in the world of systems.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you can have the most experienced specialist, and I'd use the same one, video, and if they don't get audio, they don't get systems.
Right.
Because you got to have it, and you got to have all the controls and signal distribution and all of that. So it's been a great program. I mean, the CTS was here before I was here, so it's not like I invented it. Our volunteers, the ones that really worked with it, brought it together. We have our own certification committee now that elects its own personnel. And it's cool.
Well, they may have been here before you got here, but it didn't mean anything until you got here, because putting CTS at the end of your name didn't really do anything for you, and now it does something for you. It establishes a baseline knowledge for companies to hire people in, and if you have installation and design, it actually can influence buying decisions.
We've got, you talk about it being around, there were 50 when I started. 50 CTSs, and now we have 8,000. And we have over 1,000 with CTS Ds and Is, our advanced certification. And that's a phenomenal number.
Yeah, considering there were 16 in that first class in Raleigh, North Carolina.
That sort of thing is right. Yeah, it's cool.
It is amazing. Hey, Jason,
Gary.
After spending the last, I don't know, so many months just working on this show, I'm sure you're not turning your attention immediately to 2013. Please tell me you're going to take a vacation next week.
In fact, I am, Gary. I'm going to take a little bit of time off and go to Virginia Beach. So
gonna
visit
enjoy
my mother and take the family down there and dip our toes in the water, sit on the sand, and relax for a little bit. But the work never ends. It's year round. You know, we actually take over 18 months to plan a show from start to finish, and we've already been rebooking the exhibitors for next year's show in Orlando, and so it'll be great to take a little pause, but a lot of hard work, but the fruits of the labor are right here at the show. I mean, this is what we spend all year working on, like planning the Olympics. You try to get all the details and it comes all together, but it's the sum of everybody stepping up. Like Randy was saying earlier, the exhibitors doing some awesome displays, attendees coming from all 50 states and 100 countries to come here to this event to really make it the true gathering place that it is for our industry, and it's very rewarding to have the honor of working for the association, the industry, and planning the event. But it really is the contribution of all the stakeholders in the industry coming together that makes this the great success that it is.
And you have an incredible staff. We worked more closely with your staff this year than ever before because we had a booth of our own, and they were so good to work with. But they also they really get it. They understand sort of how everything fits in and understand the dynamics of technology and also the dynamics of running a trade show. But more importantly, they're just really good people. So hats off to your team as well. You're going to have a well-deserved vacation. Randy, we're going to miss you because your impact is well beyond education. I mean, the growth of the shows, the direction that InfoComm has taken. I mean, I forget the number you threw out last night, however many people that worked for InfoComm when you started versus now.
It was about 35, and now we have 130.
Right, and that 130 aren't in Fairfax, Virginia. They're all over the world.
Yeah,
right.
That's what's real cool.
Yeah, so these shows, the shows that you're doing around the world are actually InfoComm shows. They're not like borrowed or licensed names. These are real shows that you're putting on, and so you're getting the same sort of experience here. And I think you're going to find more and more manufacturers participating in multi-shows than you have ever before, because although the world's becoming global and everybody's connected electronically, you can't get the experience that you're getting here without actually attending. And,
we got a new show that we're starting in India, so we're looking forward to that coming on. We've got the show in China that it's really now just growing like crazy in Beijing. We're in Latin America, we're in Dubai, Moscow. It's kind of like name the places you never thought you'd go and go off and start a business there. It's
hey,
good
listen,
fun.
there's AV everywhere, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it
what
is,
you
sure.
talk about, AV everywhere. And I met with Richard Tan earlier today, and we're going to do Rave Now at InfoComm Dubai. We're going to try to test it out and do it a much smaller way. But we're excited about that, and we look forward to that. But we appreciate you joining us today. I know you're really busy, and you got some things to do, even though it is the last day of the show. But again, Randy, from a personal, friend-to-friend standpoint, you've been a great mentor to me. I wouldn't be teaching at UNC if it weren't for your advice to go ahead and go for it, and I wouldn't have made that life change. And Jason, you've been a great friend. It's been a lot of fun to hang out with you. We're about the same age, so we've kind of grown up in this industry together.
Absolutely.
And we have some amazing stories that we would never say on air, but it'll be a bond forever on some of these things.
Yeah.
But so thank you for joining us. Congratulations on an amazing event. They just reported that the totals were over 34,000. We don't have the exact total yet, but it is the biggest attendance. It's going to come close to tying
it's within a few hundred of our record in 08, so we're really pleased.
So everything is back, the industry's back, the economy's looking up, and we had a phenomenal 2012 event. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Gary. Thanks,
Dr. Randy Lemke, Jason McGraw, and Gary K. Go to ravepubs.com to hear this, and also Rave Now, InfoComm.com, to get all of the videos and everything else that we've done here at InfoComm 2012. This has been the Daily Rave.